Yo everyone! It's been quite the ride these past few weeks for Total Drama fans. 2 significant trailers dropped for the upcoming seasons, and I thought voicing my excitement and concerns would be rather cathartic. Trust me, I have a lot of great things to say in regards to the new material, but there's most certainly some negatives to take away from these promos. Also, I'll be only going over the first 3 trailers that released. That would take in the first Italian trailer and the first 2 Canadian trailers. I'm doing this because that's all I really need to watch. Personally, I've waited so long for these new Total Drama seasons. Most of us have, people that have stuck around with the series for such a long time. And we're all already sold on watching these seasons, so we don't necessarily need more material or official material to get us more hyped for the seasons. Plus, I feel like watching a lot of this material does more harm than good. I mean, I already see so many people complain about stuff that hasn't even happened yet through a few frames of footage. And to me, that's just a wrong way of looking at it. I mean, the fact that we're getting all these new storylines and characters and possible returns is way more gratifying and exciting than being disappointed that your favorite that you don't even know about is going out first. I just think before we get started, it's wise to remember that we didn't even know Total Drama in a competitive format would return after so long. So if you're genuinely tempted to not watch it because you think something may happen or may ruin the season or may disappoint you, I think it's really hard to take you seriously as a fan of the series. I might have rambled there a little bit too much, and I'll probably get to more of this in a later in this video, or sometime in between. Regardless, let's get started. First, I'll quickly dissect the Italian trailer, and I say quickly since there isn't really too much to analyze. We get to see the team's logos. The ferocious Trout, the red team, is so resemblant of the killer Bass, and that's probably my favorite team of all time, so that makes me like them so much more. On the other hand, the Frogs of Death, the emblem looks great, the color's really cool, but honestly, none of my preseason favorites are here, so if I had to pick one, I definitely would go with the former. And also Z's on there, and that's by far my favorite contestant. But this particular trailer also chooses to emphasize Ripper. He has this intentionally horrible green and yellow long sleeve shirt he justifiably disposes of. Some fans have speculated he's gonna have a running joke where he rips his shirt off every episode, which honestly sounds a bit lame. But also, I just don't think it's true. In my view, Ripper seems like he's only on the show trying to get away from some overprotective parents. They expect him to dress properly and uptight. Instead, he's gonna go on the show to be more loose and extreme. Hell, Ripper might not even be his real name, maybe a middle name or a nickname he's gotten. That's at least how I'm interpreting it, not this wannabe Gibby that a lot of people seem to be suggesting. The biggest takeaway for me actually was the way the shot was framed. It's very resemblant of Island's first episode, where characters are getting introduced by talking to Chris one by one. We're not in the middle of a scene on a plane. We're not given only 5 seconds of narration dedicated to their personality. It's full-blown introductions with Chris. I think that's a great step in the right direction. It gives us time to understand these new characters' personalities and motives much more effectively. The trailer also reveals that Italy's airings will happen very soon, which we later found out that day would be April 10th. I've got a ton of stuff to say about the programming and scheduling, so stay tuned for that. In Canada's first trailer, we get to finally hear some of the voices that'll be used in the English dub. The majority of this promo focuses on this battleship challenge. Initially, I thought they were taking a page out of Survivor. In many seasons of that show, the contestants ravage a boat filled with food and supplies. Oftentimes, there will even be advantages hidden in the ship. But it just looks like an ordinary challenge, so that idea's out the window. But when my guy Z spoke though,
I can't watch.
I mean game over. I mean that was it. Ladies and gentlemen, the trailer instantly became good. But outside of that, you know, the best moment in television the past 5 years, not much else was shown. We did get to hear Scary Girl's voice.
I call Jackhammer!
I was not expecting that. Her having more of a youthful voice actually gets rid of a lot of my worries regarding her character. I was hesitant on liking her at first because I thought the writer's approach to her character would be this overly psychotic horror movie fueled teen, but I'm starting to think that's not the case. Maybe she'll have more hints of Izzy, rather than a grown-up version of Gwen from Dramarama like I initially thought. She gets really excited about this jackhammer, and then we get this shot. This scene looks a whole lot like the campers trying to rebuild an area within the island. If we go back to the MIPCOM pamphlet, it says that they're returning to a rundown Camp Wawanakwa. I know this info conflicts with the tweet from Terry a while back saying that they never mentioned the island's name in the show, even though they've done it multiple times within the promotional material, and the fact that the island is the exact same. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. I think it's cool that they're keeping continuity with All Stars ending. And that's really it for the trailer. Actually, no, one more thing. Finally we see Raj and Wayne separated. I really don't think there'll be this male version of Katie and Sadie a lot of people seem to be worried about. But the promotional material thus far has been really trying to combat my optimism here. I still have weirdly high hopes for them. I actually think they're going to be really fun. Moving on, we have the 30-second Canadian trailer, and okay, there's a lot to unpack with this one. I'm not even gonna get into spoiler stuff because, frankly, like I said, it's not really worth it. I kinda hate the mindset of digging scene by scene to see, oh, this person's present in 3 challenges while we see this guy only in 1. Like, what are you doing? Do you get more of a thrill in those 5 seconds of looking than seeing the drama unpack in an actual episode? Outside of that, though, I'm also disappointed in the production team here. Or at least the ad programming team. You're making a 30-second trailer. Why do you even need to pull from multiple episodes? You're gonna have enough varied shots from the first episode alone, and no viewer's gonna go, man, I really wasn't sold on that obstacle course, but when I saw those cabbages, oh, that was it. I knew I had to tune in. It's just that Total Drama is such a unique show where you can't just show random segments throughout the season. You've got to be careful with what you show, and I think the people who put these packages together should be held responsible. Outside of that, they did a lovely job. I mean, I love what I'm seeing here. This trailer's pretty great. First of all, the dynamic of Nichelle and Julia. Man, I cannot wait for that. The idea of having this already established influencer who's maybe a bit too sure of herself, whereas you have this wannabe celebrity trying to follow her around. I mean, this feels, pardon my pun, so fresh. When you can take a relationship dynamic that is further emphasized by your show's core concept, and it can go 1,000 different ways. Is one gonna blindside the other? Will they be season-long rivals, where their relationships start off rocky and develop into something sincere? I am pumped to see which route the writing team took this duo. Then we get to see Priya's personality.
Not the not real reality show kind of friendship. The really real kind in reality for real friendship. What?
That's not what anyone was expecting. Her being this overprotecting, overbearing friend. The idea of having a character who has trouble making friends because when she makes them, she finds herself overstepping her boundaries is interesting. That's something I would definitely want fleshed out. So if that's the case, I want her here for a while. Also, an homage to Sean? I mean, that's just too cool. It also gets me thinking that it would be great that if they can't get the original contestants to play for right now, why not give an homage to a previous cast member every episode like this one? A brief mention by Chris, a background cameo, a challenge inspiration, whatever works. I'd love to see that, and things like this wouldn't get in the way for new viewers. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Chris's voice. In the third trailer, we got to hear the voice of Terry McGurran come out of the character, rather than the original voice actor Christian Potenza. First, let's take the fact that he's no longer voicing the character in isolation. So to me, as a longtime huge fan of the series, what do I think? Well, if my hype were a 10 out of 10 before this news, my hype is maybe now at a 9? It stinks a bit, obviously, and Potenza's voice for the character is incredible. I guess I've just got so many other things to look forward to that this isn't too big of an issue, which I suppose is a bit strange, but not as strange at how casual fans are reacting. When this trailer was revealed, I literally saw a post saying, "They're ruining my childhood." First of all, if your childhood is solely reliant on one voice from one character in one show, that is something. Wow. But second of all, I personally have shown this franchise to a ton of people. And I will say, the one thing that all these new fans talk about years after watching the show is how much they liked Chris. His character, as well as his voice, have certainly become iconic. In fact, I would argue, Chris's voice is one of the most recognizable voices in animation that was at least created in the 2000s decade. It's become a meme, a popular piece of nostalgia. It's obviously iconic, like I said. So I understand to some degree why this change may be a rationale for someone to not watch the season. But I also think the majority of people complaining weren't gonna watch the season anyway. They're complaining for the sake of complaining. Plus, it's Terry McGurran we're talking about here, an excellent talent. I'm sure while it may seem weird at first, it'll be a great performance. Honestly, the biggest downside of this is the fact that we're not gonna see Don again, at least his original voice. They sound pretty much the same now. Don was such a breath of fresh air following Pacateo, and he made the Redonkulous race so much better than it needed to be. Maybe they'll recast Don if they have to? Granted, I don't know if they'll ever even broadcast a second season of Redonkulous, but speaking of broadcasting, let's actually go to the scheduling portion. I've got a lot to say about this. If we go back to the Italian trailer, we can see the word they used to describe the upcoming season's release of episodes is very soon. Later, through some digging, we were able to find that this date was April 10th. Yeah, that's very soon, alright. Through the source we found it on, tvprofile.com, it shows that the episodes are being released daily, Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. So presumably, if only the first season is being shown to them, that season will finish in a little over 3 weeks, ending on May 1st. So before getting into any of the schedules on other territories, I just wanted to say I would hate this schedule. We've waited 7 years for a new competitive season. I'd much rather savor the times we have with these new episodes and for them to be released weekly. It just sounds like a raw deal. The community should have ample time to converse, predict, and speculate about each episode. I just know I'd be disappointed if the season's airing were to end so soon. Although, on the bright side, a new episode at 8 p.m., that would be beautiful. I really want Cartoon Network to start broadcasting their episodes in primetime slots again. Teen Titans Go is currently at 6 p.m., and the upcoming Craig of the Creek episodes are at 5 p.m. When Redonkulous Race aired at that time, I hated it. There was hardly any urgency to watch it so early in the day. But moving back on topic, it's pretty much confirmed Italy's gonna get the season first. Good for them. Their channel, K2, broadcasts Total Drama episodes pretty much daily, so it makes sense that they're the priority. We did get to see 2 other trailers, however, so when is Canada getting their episodes? Well, according to another reliable TV schedule website, TV Passport, it's inconclusive. Boomerang Canada doesn't have anything listed for the new episodes as of right now. We have trailers and that's it. But I actually do have a theory of when it's releasing there. It has to be at least somewhat soon. The channel isn't going to have the same 2 trailers playing for months when they have plenty of new stuff to look forward to. So keep in mind when I tell you this. Every day, the channel is broadcasting 1 episode from the original Total Drama Island season. They started on March 27th. Assuming they continue with this schedule with 1 episode per day, the 26 episode season would finish its run on April 21st. I don't think it would be crazy to speculate that the new season may air very close to that date. Again, this is just a theory, so don't get your hopes up too high. I just feel like Boomerang Canada has had a very reasonable and varied schedule. It's much better than United States' own Boomerang and Cartoon Network channels. That's why I've become somewhat confident in this theory. Moving on to the US. Oh boy. Cartoon Network news out of them has not been exactly promising lately. They've given another hour to Adult Swim, which will get rid of the 8 p.m. release window out of contention. But beyond that, there's been nothing. No commercials, no news articles, no social media presence, nada. As of recording, we have the schedule all the way up till April 19th. It would be great if Canada and the US got the releases on the same day, but then again, that would mean Canada got this awesome catch-up marathon that we didn't get. I guess it's fine though. But would that mean the US has 0 hints as to when the new seasons could be airing? Not quite. We've got one thing, and that's the Dramarama special. It's supposed to air on April 15th. I wouldn't be too surprised if the new season aired somewhat close to that. You leave the fans with the final episode in the spin-off. To directly come back to the revival, it makes sense. Teen Titans Go just finished airing a batch of episodes on March 27th. Craig of the Creek is about to air a batch of episodes from April 3rd to April 7th. It seems like the network is trying to have new content to air once a week. If Dramarama is airing on the 15th, well, then take that for what you will. Actually, honestly, it could air much after that. In Cartoon Network's April press release briefing, there was no mention of the reboot coming this month. We haven't seen a new show premiere on Cartoon Network since January 1st of last year, so excuse me, but I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if we would have to wait that much longer than Canadian viewers, as dreary as that sounds. Also, Michael Olween, the president of the network, has neglected to mention Total Drama in any official capacity. In fact, he wasn't even the president that greenlit it. Tom Ashing did, so it might just be on the back burner for right now. Who knows? Despite the pessimism at the end though, I'm ridiculously pumped for these new seasons. Once we get an official release date, I'll be counting down the days for the premiere. There's still a lot of questions left to be answered, and I'm excited to see the truth reveal itself in the next several weeks. I'll be sure to keep you guys posted on the upcoming news for Canadian and United States releases. So subscribe to keep up to date. I'm personally not gonna watch the Italian version. You know, we've waited so long for these seasons, I'm totally capable of waiting just a couple more months for the English versions. What do you guys think of this unveiling of news regarding the scheduling and trailers? I'd really like to know. These new seasons of Total Drama revived so many personal friendships for me, so it's always exciting for me to talk about the show. Let me know what you think about the news and your thoughts before the episodes officially air. And with that, thank you so much. See you guys in the comments. Goodbye.